Okay. There we go. All right. So fuck, man. You just did some physical therapy before you got here?
Yeah, so like I have a personal trainer that I work with. I've been with him for like 5 or 6 years now, and we do like 3 days a week. And today was one of our like heavier days, so feeling pretty bushed, but it was a good sesh though.
Wow. And what did you focus on today?
Today was, I mean, it's usually a mix of everything. Like we did a bunch of lower body, a bunch of upper body, and then we finished with like a high intensity cardio. And
Hmm.
that has been on my, like I bought a trainer for my bike, so I've just been doing that in the sessions, and it's like been helping getting my like biking legs back and stuff. So that's cool.
Damn. You're on some serious rehab shit.
I mean, yeah, it's been a grind, but I've been doing this with this guy, like I said, for 5 years, and like he always kind
Wow.
of pushes me to like he'll watch my edits and like see like ask me what tricks I want to focus on, and he'll kind of like tailor my exercises so that I'm stronger with that trick. It's pretty fucking sweet. The dude's a G for sure.
Is this the knee doctor guy?
No, that's so that was my surgeon. He's in Ottawa, which is like 5 hours from here. But this guy
Wow.
is I've tagged him on Instagram before. His name's Trainer in the 416. He's just a personal trainer that my buddy connected me with a few years ago. So
Oh, gotcha. So this isn't just like random physical therapy. This is like your personal trainer type shit, like really looking after what you're doing.
yeah, yeah, exactly. So like, I have a physio guy, obviously for post-op shit because it's a bit different, of course, as you know.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Um, so I have my surgeon who I talk with every once in a while. Then I have my physio guy who I talk with every couple weeks, and then my trainer I talk to him like I mean, I talk to him every day because he, like, we started doing this nutrition thing as well. So he kind of like watches everything I eat and like keeps a log of my food so we can monitor my weight and like get me down back to like fighting weight and shit like that. So it's pretty intense, but
Damn.
I mean, I don't know where I'd be without the guy.
Right, dude. Is it? I guess physical trainer is probably a costly expense, but worth it.
I mean, yeah, it's definitely like, I mean, I've been with him for a while, so he like hooks me up pretty good, but
Hmm.
it's not cheap by any
Yeah.
means, but I won't work out like if I just have myself to like hold accountable, like I won't do fucking anything. So I just like pay him to make sure that I'm not a fucking stain.
Hmm. That's cool. Hell
Yeah,
yeah.
it helps a lot for sure.
Well, damn. Where do we start, man? Fucking. Uh, where do we go back to? I really appreciate you sending me those links because I couldn't find some of this stuff, and catching
Oh
some
yeah,
of
no
the
worries,
older
man.
shit was like it's really cool because you can really see the progression because you have a very unique trick set and ability, and it's like you
Thanks, man.
kept leaning into it and it builds up into like some NBD Fufanu and street rails to grinds type shit.
Yeah, I mean, like that's like I started riding trials. Like that was my step into like biking in general. Like I was a skateboarder for a long time, and then I started riding trials, and like I feel like that's kind of really kind of dictated my pathway. I still obviously like doing a lot of brake shit, a lot of like stall stuff. So it's very like I would say kind of trials flavored, but
Mm,
yeah, it's definitely where I cut my teeth. So I think it shows like where my riding's been going.
yeah, I didn't even connect the dots until you said that. I'm like, wow, it all makes sense now.
Yeah, a lot of hopping, a lot of back wheel bouncing and shit. So
Dude, it's cool, man. I'm into
thanks,
it.
man. Appreciate it.
So you grew up in Toronto, or?
So I grew up in New Brunswick, which is like an Atlantic province on the East Coast. I was there till I was like 13, and then I moved to Ontario. Slowly made my way to Toronto. I was born in Toronto, though. I lived there for like 2 weeks before I left,
Wow.
so or before my parents left, I guess. So I'm technically Torontonian, but I've lived most of my life other places.
Wow. So the way our paths crossed, I was in Rochester, and I think the Foo Dudes came down, and you came down with them. It was like Trent and fucking Cush Plumbing. What's his name now?
Oh,
God damn it,
Greg.
Greg Henry. Yeah,
Yeah, the G.
yeah. So how did you link up with the Foo Dudes?
Oh man, I mean, like those guys are Ontario mainstays. Like they're the
Oh,
main crew in Ontario. So like I've known, I think I met Greg and like Bobby and maybe Orbs at like a contest in fuck. it was a long time ago. It was probably like 2006 or 7.
Wow.
So yeah, it was like a random contest at I don't know if you've heard of Muskoka Woods. It's like
Mm-mm.
a mini Woodward, like a crappy mini Woodward here in Ontario. So yeah, they had a contest and like I rolled out with my buddy from high school and like I kind of met all those dudes there for the first time. And then yeah, we've just been kicking it ever since, riding as much as possible and kind of hanging out. So it's been a long while knowing those guys.
Maybe I'm paying too close attention, but I did see a Fu Man head tube badge. And I was like, oh man, he's definitely down with the Fu dudes. I wasn't sure. Like, yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean like we're tight as hell, and like obviously with as you get older, it gets harder to see people all the time. But
Mm-hmm.
like yeah, I mean anytime I see those guys, it's like it's like we've been hanging out every day for the last however long. So like we're super tight for sure.
And Charlie's from Buffalo, right?
Yeah, yeah, Charlie's from Buffalo.
So he would, maybe that's a question for him, but like, how did I guess he just started coming over to Canada and then everybody just started meeting up and filming and shit like that, or?
I think Charlie met the dudes either at like through metros because I know Charlie would come and like ride or watch metros. I think that was the first time I saw him was he was like riding in one.
Mm,
And there was a skate park in Buffalo. I don't know if you remember X Wheels or X Street. I can't remember which one it was. I think it was X Wheels.
yeah,
And like I know like that's like 20 minutes over the border for those guys, so they would always go over there in the wintertime as well.
right. I think I
So
went there once and it was like 2 weeks before it closed down or something. Something really, really weird.
oh shit, yeah, yeah, yeah. It was an amazing place. Like I remember I would drive 3 or 4 hours like every second week to go ride there for like a
Wow.
few hours. So it was like a big deal whenever and like from like 2009 on.
Wow.
Yeah, it was sick. That was an amazing place. It was like obviously we didn't have skate parks like that in Canada, so like going there and seeing like the crazy skate park and like the pro shop and the concession stand they had, I was like, this is cool.
Hmm. It kind of
It was
makes you
good.
feel like you're actually, I don't want to say inside the culture, but like it's like a place where your hobby, this shit exists, you know?
Yeah, definitely. It was really cool. And like I said, like there was nothing like that up here. And like I know they had like a concert venue and shit there. So like there was a big hardcore scene like like kind of involved with the skate park as well, which I was super into at the time. So it was like a cool little like cultural center or like a community center for people
Hmm.
who didn't play basketball. So it was sick.
Damn. Fuck. And shit, I don't know if I'm jumping around, but
No, no, it's
you've
fine.
had a
Don't worry.
bunch of people make like edit your stuff. I think was it Trent was in there. I saw Trent filming at least. A couple other people. I'm forgetting their names this second. Was
Yeah,
it
yeah. I mean, sorry, go ahead.
was it like a lot of pressure? Do you feel like a lot of pressure to film when you got people coming out?
I mean, like, I don't, not really, because like my main thing, like, I enjoy filming a lot. Like, I love filming clips, and like that's kind of how I'm used to riding. Like, go out all day, ride
Hmm.
around, film as much as you can, and then just come home. But I think the main issue out here is like the lack of filmers. So like my big thing was always trying to find people to film me.
Hmm.
So a lot of my stuff is pretty bro cammy for like the like especially the original stuff, like the early stuff. Obviously, I started working with Joel Fortin a lot more recently. He's done like my last 2 or 3 edits, and like that dude's amazing. He's one of my best friends, and he's like super close. So it's been really good to actually work with like one filmer over a
Hmm.
few projects as opposed to just like whoever's at the session, just like here, shoot, like point this camera at me.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's definitely like I don't really feel pressure, but I feel sometimes stressed about finding someone to kind of help me, especially whenever I'm like feeling it and it's one of those good seasons where things are kind of rolling. I'll
Hmm.
feel pressure to kind of like get the clips, just so I have stuff to show. But actually filming is like something I really love, so I don't ever feel pressure to kind of like clip up, which is good.
Hell yeah. And you've been I mean, once I watched the oldest video you sent me, I was like, this guy has been on pro like for a solid clip of a decade. You've been on some like heavy, big shit, like not no nibby shit that I would be doing. So it's like
Thanks.
you like you were sponsored by McNeil. I guess that it's just like the name or the brand that's in town, sort of.
Yeah, I mean, like obviously back in the day, McNeil was like a huge deal, and as things progressed and the company kind of changed hands and management, things just kind of chilled out a bit. So
Hmm.
um, I rode for them for like 2 or 3 years, I think, because I rode for Tenpack for a long. That was like my first sponsor. I rode for Volume and Demo through Tenpack.
Oh, cool.
So whenever Volume and Demo stopped being distributed by Tenpack, then they were like, okay, we want to keep you if you want a spot on the McNeil team. And obviously I said yes because it was like my first pro team and everything like that. So I was stoked. But yeah, things just kind of fizzled after a bit. And then I rode kind of just whatever for a little bit. And then Jay Rowe from Kink reached out and was like, yo, if you like, it'd be cool if you wanted to ride some stuff. So that was like probably almost 6 years ago now. So I've been repping Kink and like King frames and stuff since then. And obviously
Wow.
Merrit parts for probably closer to a decade, I would say. It's been a minute on
Damn.
Merrit stuff.
Hell yeah. That's what's up, man. Got any more projects in the works you're allowed to talk about?
I mean, right now it's been like it's so dry just because I've been off my bike for pretty much fuck. I think like the last real clip I filmed that I was stoked on was probably like November of 2021.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's whenever I got hurt because I was like for my last edit, that like Northern Embassy edit, my most
Hmm.
recent one,
Yeah.
I was filming for that whenever I blew my knee out. So I was kind of like crazy, 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 like just instant stop after like a full season of like pushing myself. So it was like
Mm.
it's been a weird little bit. And obviously like after I hurt myself, I got put on Merrit Pro. So it's been like a kind of a bizarre transition for me. I'm just kind of waiting to take advantage of the situation or the opportunities that I've been given. And yeah, it's just been, I mean, with 2 surgeries, I can't really expect much, but like, yeah, it's been a fucking slog for the last little bit. And right now, the only project is just getting back on my bike. And
Yeah.
then, I mean, me and Joel are going to head to Jersey for a little bit, hang
Sick.
out there. And then hopefully, yeah, just travel and hang out with the homies again. It's been too long.
Wow. So in this 2021 edit, you were still filming. You had that last banger clip, and you still kept filming, and then that's when you fell. Like
Yeah, so
I
I
guess obviously,
filmed,
but
yeah, like I filmed that like pegs for pegs pretty early in the season, actually. Like I filmed it probably around like June, July ish.
hmm.
And I mean, yeah, I'm in shorts in the time, so it was like fucking balls hot out that day. But yeah, it was early in the summer, and I just got lucky, and it worked out within a day. Like, I mean, that spot is like 3 blocks from my house, so I would always cruise by it, going to the store, and I would just fucking stare at it. And like, yeah, one of these, like one of those days, I was like, all right, let's go to the spot, and it worked out. And the cool thing about that spot is there's 2 longer rails. So it goes like 9 set, 8 set, and then like that 6 or 7 set or whatever it is. So there's like 3 perfect rails in a line there. And I just hit the last one. But yeah, like that spot is, you can't really ask for much more than that. Like it's absolutely amazing. And yeah, like that worked out super quick. So yeah,
Mm.
it's rare that like you're filming for a project. Well, for me anyway, like I'm filming for a project and I end up actually like getting a banger that I'm stoked on, like not at the last minute. Usually I'm stressed out trying to
Oh,
think of
right.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like obviously there's a lot of pressure trying to like finish off a video, and like if you have the what you consider the banger in the bag already, like it makes the rest of the season so much easier.
Hmm.
But obviously that, that doesn't happen all the time, and I just got really lucky on this project, and yeah, it made like everything else after that a lot more stress free just because I was like, well, whatever
Right.
happens, like I have this clip that I'm fucking pumped on, and that is going to go at the end anyway. So
Right. So if you don't mind, I'd like to ask you about the injury. And you told me a
yeah,
little bit about it and how it started. You were trying to do a crook on a rail and got twisted up a little bit.
yeah, exactly. So it was like, those like long, like those wider steps, the
Hmm.
ones that are kind of like not like a regular one.
Yeah.
It was like probably like a 12 or 13 um, into like this weird. It was like a kind of packed dirt landing. So in retrospect, thinking about it now, like I don't even know why the hell I tried it, because it wasn't to concrete or asphalt, so it was fucking stupid to begin with. But you know, it is what it is. I just like thought I would get like a cool, quick like filler crook clip.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, like I was going at it, and there's like this big kind of like swooping hook into the rail, so I was coming in and I swooped around, and then I was kind of a little bit too leaned when I hopped, so I landed in the crook, and as soon as I landed, like my body just went like that. So obviously I went over the front end like that, and I jumped, of course, but my seat was a little bit higher, so my back leg caught my seat, and I was kind of like I tilted forward a little bit, and then I put my foot down, and it rolled. It caught like the last little bit of the step and rolled outwards, like down to the next one. And then whenever my foot hit the next step, my leg was hyperextended, and the impact kind of like bent it in. I've had worse ones like that. Like whenever I tore my ACL, funnily enough, there's a clip of that too. And like I land and you can see my whole leg just like bow 45 to the side. It was disgusting, but this one doesn't look as bad, but it like right away, it felt like someone took a sledgehammer to my knee, and I knew that something was wrong. So I just rolled in the dirt for a few minutes, then got up, and it was toasted for like that. I was in my best shape that I can remember riding wise. And then like all of a sudden it just gone. And I was fucked after like I didn't ride for probably 6 months after I did the initial injury, because I was doing a fuckload of physio with people in town. They weren't doing shit. They were just like, you know, you go in and they hook you up with machines, and they don't really like put you on a plan.
Right.
So yeah, I was just fucking around, wasting time with different physiotherapists. And then I eventually got an MRI, and they were like, yeah, your meniscus is destroyed, your cartilage on your femoral condyle is destroyed, and you're going to need surgery. So at that point, I started looking around, trying to find what the best option was.
So you had knee surgery prior to this, though?
Yeah, I've had 3 in total.
Oh, wow. So this most recent one was your third?
Yeah, on the same knee.
All this is on the same knee?
Yeah, my left one. It's not what it used to be.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it's rough, but like, I mean, you know, it is what it is. And like my joints aren't great anyway. Like I've had my shoulder rebuilt. Both of them used to pop out all the time. My wrist, my ankles, they're all obviously, like any BMXer, they're all fucked, but like my knee and shoulder particularly are just thrashed.
Wow.
Yes. I mean, it could be worse, you know, like obviously I'm thankful for the things that I have done and will continue to do, but like, yeah, it's been fucking rough, especially this last little bit, like just trying to grind through and be positive and all that shit that you have to do after an injury.
Big time. I mean, especially when you're used to riding at a certain skill level.
And yeah, definitely.
I messed up my knee in 2020 during quarantine doing the simplest, dumbest thing. I was trying to pegs one, like peg soft one.
Okay.
Landed 90. Didn't even like, basically a pegs soft one is pretty easy for me. One of the few tricks that my basic ass can do like all the time.
Come on now, you strad.
on a very baby scale, maybe. But I was trying to do it, and I kept not getting it, and it was like gonna be the only thing I did that day, and I just wanted something to chew on when I go home and feel like I did something, and it wasn't working, and I just kept landing sideways. And the one time I landed sideways and I didn't take my feet off because I was just being a prick, and I was like, no, I'm gonna pedal away from this because I don't know, big wrong energy to bring into that. Because what happened is, I guess I side loaded my knee, and then when I went to go pedal right after that, like I screamed out of pain, like uncontrollably screamed. Like I don't fucking just scream out of nowhere. And I was like, all right, guys, I can't pedal. I'm gonna have to walk home. We weren't close either. I was like, so I kind of like scooted my ass all the way home, And
Did it swell a lot?
no, it looked normal as
Crazy.
shit. Like there was like, that's what I'm saying. It was like such a baby thing. But then later on, I went to go like run up this my stoop at my house. It was like a two stair thing, you know. I went to go
Mm.
just run up it, and as soon as that knee got in front of that toe, I almost fucking fell
Uh,
like face first into the door. Like my knee, everything just gave out.
Fuck, man, that's brutal. Did you get your meniscus checked?
I haven't. I went to the doctors, and so far, um, they just prescribed me physical therapy. We didn't do
Mm,
did X-rays, but they didn't do any MRIs. But whatever's fucked is like as soon as it happens, it's like absolutely no gas is in there.
mm. It doesn't work. Like you can't even put power through it.
Right. As soon as that tinge of pain happens, it's like nope. It just feels like
Mm-hmm.
my whole shit just broke or something. But so I went and got a whole bunch of stuff checked out this year, and I ended up getting an MRI on my hip.
Right, right, right.
I got the physical therapy on the knees, but I got the MRI on the hip. But I had already been doing the physical therapy on the knees. And then after I got the MRI on the hip, they're like, yeah, you got some shit going on. We're going to prescribe you some physical therapy for that. And there's a lot of other things you can do down the road if you see a way to do that. But I had
Mm.
gotten my bill for my physical therapy for my knees, and I was like, yo, I don't even feel that much better from this shit. And it's like this much. I'm not doing it for the hip. I'm just going to go YouTube my ass and
Dude, I mean, that's half of it. Like, if you know the area, like, it's so much easier to just, not saying like physical therapists aren't worth their weight in gold, but like, there's so many of them out there that just treat it like a fucking job.
yeah,
And also, they
exactly.
think what we do is stupid and not worth like fixing. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like, some medical professionals are like weird about like aggressive sports like that. They think it's a waste of time, but yeah, I mean, like it's fucking so expensive, and like going twice, three times a week, like they prescribe, it's like I can't afford this and do other stuff. Like it's so expensive.
Yeah. Especially when it's not like immediately or like like even like obviously working. Like one of the things
Yeah.
your guy Stable Knees, I saw him post was about like open and versus closed um movements.
Oh, chain exercises. Yeah.
And I was because one of the physical therapy things I was doing was exactly that, the open thing where like you're lifting your legs, like locking your thigh
Right.
and lifting your legs, and I'm like, I can't quite tell if this is doing anything or not. And then I was like, well, I do this other stuff where I my feet are on the ground. I'm like, maybe I should just keep doing that shit because it's like it feels more obvious that it's working.
I mean, if it feels like that's half of it too. Like if it feels better and you're feeling better after it, then it's going to make you more apt to do them anyway, and then you'll just get stronger that way. But yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, for everybody, it's different, and like but yeah, the like Stable Knees, like Dr. Rayner, he's a G, and he knows stuff too. And it's like he's really cool about being realistic. Like
Mm-hmm.
he never once said like, you know, it's time to find a new hobby, or like you're getting too old for this, or whatever the fuck other doctors say. He's just like, all right, well, this is what you want to do. We're going to get you back to doing that. You might need a knee replacement in 15 years, but we'll deal with that later. So
Yeah, exactly. And did you have to go through a couple doctors till you got to people that were like on the same wavelength as you?
um, stupidly enough, like my buddy, I don't know if you know Ryan Ellis. He rides for like Federal.
Sounds
He's like
familiar.
he's an amazing rider. He's from Sudbury up here, but he had Dr. Rayner take care of his ankle. I think it was like peak COVID, so it took forever just because of obviously COVID. But like, yeah, he
Mm-hmm.
had a really good experience with him, and he kind of referred me. So I just sent Dr. Rayner a quick message on Instagram of all things. Like I just DM'd him, which is something I've never done before. Like just DM'd a surgeon to be like, "Yo, I need fucking help." But it worked out. He responded to me, and he was just like, "Hell yeah, like call my office. We'll get you set up with something." And it took it took a little bit, as these things do. It
Yeah.
was kind of a slow process, but that's just, you know, it's not his fault at all. It's just the system that we have. So um, I went to Ottawa to meet with him once, and then I signed all the paperwork, like the surgery consent and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then things got a little bit busy on his end, and I was looking to kind of get back for 2022 season. So I went to my family doctor, and she kind of set me up with someone who was local, and he did the first, so the second knee procedure. That was like May of last year, and that was just like a meniscus removal. So he just went in and cleaned up and took out the torn meniscus. I was only out for 6 weeks, but coming back, like rehab after that was a fucking nightmare. And like I said, I bounced around to a bunch of different physiotherapists, and I couldn't find someone who was willing to like really help me get to where I wanted to be. So I feel like the combination of like the wrong surgery and then the wrong rehab like really fucked my season last year.
So that surgery wasn't the right one? The removing the meniscus?
I mean, I'm sure it helped, but I should have just gone for the more invasive one first.
Oh, gotcha.
The first one was like my dad's a surgeon, so I talked to him about it, and I was like, "What do you think about these two procedures?" And he was like, "It's always good to try the less invasive option first to see if that'll fix it, and you can kind of get away with not having a fucking giant hole in your knee." But so I tried it, didn't end up working. It just felt like shit. I think I mentioned like I got one clip that I'm stoked on last year, and luckily my knee just held up for that day. But before and after that, like I would ride for a day, and then I would feel like shit for a week, and then my knee would kind of feel a little bit better, and then it was just like up and down and up and down. So I got zero fucking momentum going last year. And then like I had kind of decided that I was not gonna go with Dr. Rayner after having the surgery already. But it was really lucky. They kind of reached out and were like, "Oh, we're just reaching out to see if you want to schedule your procedure." And I was like, "Oh, because I had called his office to be like, I'm gonna go with this less invasive one to see how it goes, and I'll call you guys if I need you." But I got some wires got crossed, and they didn't make a note of that. So she called me to schedule it, and I was like, "Fuck, I'll just talk to the guy." So I talked to him, and he was like, "Listen, like I understand that you just had this done, but your knee's not getting any better, and it needs to have this taken care of before you need a full-blown knee replacement."
Wow.
So I was like, "Fuck, I guess I'll give it a go." And he got me in super, super fast. Like I think our phone call was in like late November, and he got me he got me into the OR in under 2 months. So I was like, "Fuck, I'm just gonna do this, get it out of the way in January, and then just heal for the winter and come back strong for like April or May." So we're kind of getting there now.
Wow. So
sorry, that was a lot of talking.
No, man, I'm soaking this up because I feel like I'm on the cusp of having to do some similar type shit because I'm gonna try a knees over toes guide as much as I can, but
yeah, hell yeah.
I don't know where I'm really at with things. But when you had your very first knee surgery, I'm mad curious about how strong it feels after it goes well. Like,
what this is the thing with like major like procedures like this is like every single day that I wake up now, like I may have gotten to like a milestone, like in terms of like knee flexion or extension or strengthening. Like I might have hit a milestone the day before, but as soon as I hit that milestone, it's like, all right, up to the next level. And then we just rip a scab off again, basically. So it never feels like there's not like one particular moment where you're like, "Oh, sick, I'm back." Like it feels amazing. Right. Like it just, it sucks. And then you slowly get back to riding and keep sucking. And then one day you're just like sitting on your bike sessioning and you're like, "Oh fuck, like it doesn't really feel that bad anymore." And like it just happens and you're like, "Oh fuck, I'm back. Cool."
I've noticed this just a tiny bit because we have an indoor bike.
Oh, okay.
And I started doing like the thing where you step on the step and you like let your foot hang down, and you press up.
Oh, okay. Like calf raises or the like shin pumps the other way?
Where like you I don't know how to do it, dude. Like
no.
You have one foot on the stair
right,
and you let your leg go down, you press up. Like a one-legged press almost.
Right. Yeah.
I was doing those, and then I was going on the indoor bike backwards. I would play Call of Duty like on the iPad, dude. It's a fucking great thing because it's almost like BMX, but like
That's sick.
I'll go forwards for like 5 minutes, and then I'll try and go backwards for like 10 to 15 minutes. And I I noticed that if I had the pressure too high, I will get that tinge in my knee. And
Hmm.
once sometimes I can work through the pain, but from what I've heard, it sounds like you're really not supposed to work through the pain. You're really supposed to dial it back at that point, right?
Yeah, and it's like finding that because for us, obviously, like our idea of pain is much different than like a 60-year-old man. So like our idea of pain is pretty high, and like learning to figure out the difference between discomfort and pain is like something I'm working on still because I'm like I don't
Mm-hmm.
know if I'm just being a bitch and like this shouldn't hurt or like if this is like an actual problem and I shouldn't push through it because normally I just say fuck it, just push through it because what else are you gonna do?
Yeah.
But yeah, apparently like it's I mean, of course it's not good, but like yeah, like those really acute specific pains, like I'm assuming you felt kind of the same as I did where like there was a point where you were bending your knee and it would kind of just like either lock or give out. Like there
Yeah.
was just a spot where it just fucked off.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I was the same way and like I would hit that spot a lot, especially with like lunges.
Mm-hmm.
Um with my shit leg in the back, or I guess I shouldn't say shit leg, my left leg in the back. Like I would feel that spot like crazy. And for like 3 months, I tried to push through that, like before this last surgery.
Mm-hmm.
And it was one of those things that would kind of, I'd be feeling good for a bit and then I'd be fucked for a week because I did something like that. And it didn't
Oh.
really hurt at the time, or like it wasn't something that like put me on the ground, but it was like that flash of like sharp pain as opposed to like that like dull, achy feeling.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, it's a learning process all the time, and like you just have to kind of listen to things. But if you're like this kind of fucking sucks, like you should probably not do it.
Yeah.
But
And that's what I noticed the this past week actually. I was on the bike and I was like, huh, I have the tension turned up and it feels good. Like because it's so crazy how quick you can go back to taking your knees for granted. Like as soon as they feel good, you're like, "What fucking problem you talking about?" And then all of a sudden you're like, "Oh
it's not
shit, yeah,
normal.
yeah." You forget. Yeah.
Hell yeah, it happens. I mean, because like it's comfortable and it's nice. Like
Right.
that's how like we had so many years of our bodies working right, and obviously recently they're not cooperating. But like as soon as you feel that comfort, it's like whenever spring hits and like it's the first +10 day, you're like, oh fuck, I'm out in tank top. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you get comfortable with it so fast, and it's like such a nice feeling when you realize that like when 6 months ago you were beat to shit and now you actually feel good.
Mm-hmm.
It's such a nice feeling. I'm looking forward to that for sure.
Damn, that's sick. Especially because you got like a trainer to kind of help keep you on point.
Yeah, yeah. He kicks my ass all the time, and like I get pissed sometimes because like I have a really bad diet, and
Mm.
like I put on a shitload of weight after I got hurt because I'm not fucking doing anything. So he's been like wagging his finger at me about that. Sometimes I get pissed, but then I'm like, no, this is what I want. Like I don't want to eat the chocolate bar right now.
Yeah.
So
Damn.
he's a bomb, man. I don't know where I'd be without that good.
Wow. And how long did the most recent surgery take? Was it like something you had to be asleep for and all that shit?
Yeah, yeah. I think the actual procedure itself took like an hour, but it was an open procedure, so he had my like I mean I don't know if you can see it, but
Yeah.
I have like this giant scar and it like goes all the way up like to the top of my knee and like funnily enough again afterwards like after the procedure was done he sent me like he DM'd me pictures of my knee like inside of
Oh,
it.
yeah. Oh.
I just opened my Instagram and it's just like flat like just blood and like my knee just sitting there and it
Oh.
was I was stoked because I was just it was cool to kind of have that line of communication with your surgeon and like
Absolutely, yeah.
I asked him questions and he kind of showed me where the destroyed area was and like he showed me like how he put the cap in and everything. So it was really cool to see that. But yeah, like the procedure itself was like really messy and like I had like 30 staples and shit. So yeah, it was really gross just because he needed to like get right in there and like I think the the implant is like that big, so it's like 2.5 centimeters or something, or like 2 centimeters.
What's
So
the implant?
it's
Is the implant like the new meniscus?
well, it's like my meniscus was like fixed in the last surgery. Like they just kind of trimmed it, trimmed all the like the ripped stuff out. But I think the main issue that I have is like the cartilage on the bottom of my femur, where it like sits into the meniscus. That was absolutely destroyed. And obviously, doing a meniscus trim isn't going to really help that, and it won't ever grow back because fuck me, why would cartilage grow back? So yeah, he like basically cut like a hole into the bottom of my femur and screwed in this cap that replaces the destroyed cartilage on the bottom of my femur. So now it sits, instead of sitting on that like really fucked up area, it sits on this little implant that like my knee sits like that, and the implant is just replacing the bone.
Wow.
It's insane, man. Like he had to call the rep for the company that makes the implants to come give him like a kit with all the different sizes, because he was like, I have no idea how big this is going to be. So I guess the rep had to come and like bring him different sizes so he could like have all of them to do the procedure. It was crazy.
Yo, I used to work at a exhibits company, and we did trade shows and shit. And one of our customers was this company that had like all kinds of stuff. It looked like mountain bike parts, but realistically it was stuff that gets screwed into bone. It's like got torque screws, and it's like anodized crazy colors and shit.
Yeah, tie.
Like, what the fuck? Yeah. All kinds of shit.
I mean, it's like
similar.
Like anything. Like if you ever worked at a bike shop, like seeing all the tools and the new parts and shit, like there's all of that for especially orthopedic surgeons, man. They love their like little gadgets and gizmos and shit. So that stuff's really cool too. Like all the cool little ways that they implant things and secure them, and like it's a bunch of really cool tech, and I'm sure a lot of it could be applied to like actual bike parts, which is kind of cool. But yeah, that industry is fucking crazy.
So you're still in recovery at this point?
Yeah, I'm like maybe I'm being optimistic, but I want to say final stages. It'll be 3 months on April 11th, and I have a meeting with my surgeon on the 5th, I think, to decide, or like to kind of check in and see when I can get back on my bike. So I'm hoping he kind of gives me the okay to slowly ease back into things before the end of April.
Right on. Do you think you're gonna have to wear like a knee pad or anything?
Yeah, I'll have to, like, I have a couple custom braces, so I'm going to have to wear one of those probably for the rest of my riding career, just because I don't want this shit to happen again. So if I can just wear a brace and avoid like a year off, then fuck it, it's worth it.
So what does the brace do? Does it just keep it from side loading?
Well, so the one I have is like, it's called an unloader, which basically one of the hinges kind of pushes either your medial or lateral side in or out, and then it'll kind of gap the other side. So say if it's pushing on the inside, it'll gap the outside of your knee so that the inside meniscus is taking more of the impact and everything, because there's literally a physical space between the other side. So it's they're uncomfortable as hell. I usually just go for like an ACL brace, which is like, it just locks your knee down, and it doesn't give you any of those instability points. Like you can't twist, you can't bow it to the side, which is how I've hurt my knee both times, is like outside impact into it. So I think my best bet is to just have like a reinforced knee so that it doesn't flex those ways, and then I won't hurt the things that are hurt because they won't get hit. So that's kind of my thought process with that. And I mean, like having that rigidity is just like, it helps a lot, especially when your muscles aren't as strong yet. So like whenever my leg kind of gets stronger, I'll maybe kind of take it off for like chill sessions at the park or whatever. But like any kind of handrail type shit, like it's got to be on there for sure.
Wow. Right on. Fuck.
It's dirty business, that's for sure.
Is that similar? That's probably real similar to like that one that Mike Mastroni would ride in. I don't know if he still does do that, but I remember it like it was yesterday for some reason, like that curved wall fence ride he did that one time, and he had the brace
Oh
on.
yeah, yeah. Yeah,
But
it would be like a similar thing. And like I know like Adam Banton and I think Nyquist, they ride for like CTI, which is another like custom knee brace company.
oh shit,
So
okay.
yeah, yeah, and like there's a bunch of dudes who have them, but yeah, they help a lot for sure. They're annoying, obviously, like because it's pretty involved contraption, but like I said, it's better than getting the shit kicked out of you for a year. So
Yeah, and like you still get to do what you enjoy doing because like I've we bought a house and I gained 40 pounds in the first year of having the house and
yeah, feel that.
fell off riding like was riding still but like not much. And fuck, where was I going with this? Um, oh, like trying to find like hobbies and interests outside of it, and like
Yeah,
sometimes you don't know that the reason you're jammed up or maybe in a bad mood is because you haven't been riding. Because it's like at this point, I'm like I'm 36. I'm not necessarily embarrassed about riding BMX, but it's like nobody understands it. So it's like you almost start to not understand it because nobody else around you understands it. So you're like,
mm,
shouldn't I be like, why am I in such a bad mood? I'm like, oh, I didn't do any 180s for like the past month or something, like something random.
yeah, definitely.
Because there's like something about it, like it's control and it's interest and creativity. There's like so many facets going on. Like,
Yeah, it's a huge outlet, like emotionally, physically, mentally. Like it's just like I had the same issue. Like I was trying to kind of find something to fill my time with over the last little bit, and like we bought a house too, so like I was kind of like I got into like doing renos and like just house shit like that, and it kind of ate up a little bit of time, but nothing really scratches the itch like riding. Like nothing. I
yeah,
can't think of anything else. Like just laying in bed at night and like increase my heart rate like just by thinking about doing something
yeah,
other than riding. So
yo,
like until I find that other drug, like I'm fucked. Like I'm riding until I can't walk anymore. Like it's the only way I can stay sane.
and like one of my favorite parts about it is like you can't. It's not something you can buy. Like you have
No.
like you're teaching yourself in a way. Like you got a little bit of help from friends, like hey, try this, try that, but like you're kind of teaching yourself everything.
Yeah, 100%. And there's no real rules. Like you can learn a trick. Like you can have the same trick look 20 different ways on 20 different riders. So it's like you can kind of like you just get the basic idea of it and then just do whatever the fuck you want and people are stoked.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
it's a cool thing for sure.
And I wanted to touch base on this a little bit. When I Googled your name, I think your LinkedIn profile came up. I saw that
Oh
you.
fuck. I forgot about that.
um,
That's too bad.
I was just curious about how you got into your profession and shit like that as well.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. How did I start? I was like working. I worked at a bike shop since I was like 13 or 14. Like random different shops all over Ontario, and like I thought for the longest time that that kind of would just be what I did for the rest of my life because I was happy
Hmm.
and I didn't really need anything more at the time. But I was like early mid 20s, so like you don't give a fuck about anything back then. So I was just like living like a dirt bag, like riding and working on bikes and stuff and partying. But um, then, funnily enough, like I met my wife, who's now my wife, like my girl at the time, and like her parents were kind of like, "Oh, you work at a bike shop." And I was like, "Yeah, well, I guess I am like 25, 26 now, so I might be kind of like look at something different." And then um, I have a bunch of buddies who work in like advertising,
Hmm.
so they kind of suggested that I look into like developing or programming or stuff like that. So I did. I thought it was pretty cool, and I was looking for a job. This is really funny, and people would think it's stupid, but like I was looking for a job that would allow me to ride as much as I can, and it wouldn't need any of my body, so I could focus 100% on riding.
Hmm.
So like I realized that if you work at a desk 5 days a week, you can go out, go nuts on the weekend, and then you can get paid to heal during the week whenever you're just sitting at a desk. And I was like, I can't ask for anything more. So I
Yeah.
like just went full hell into it, and it ended up working out. I've worked at a couple different companies now, and I've been at this one for 5 years, and it's pretty fucking sweet. I have my own team now. I kind of work whenever I need to. Like I work from home full time now, so it's been like, it's just, as far as a riding position goes, like I can't ask for anything more. So it's amazing. It worked out really well.
That's sick. Did you have to go to school, or was it more like just self-taught and learn a couple things and you'll just gain the knowledge on the field kind of thing?
I went to like, they have these like developer boot camps, they call them.
Hmm.
I went to this one. It was for 2 months, like 9 to 5, Monday to Friday. So like I quit my job and I just did that for 2 months full time. And I got really, really lucky. One of the dudes who actually works at the ad agencies I was talking about, they needed some freelance work done, so he helped me get in the door there, and then the rest is kind of history. A lot of it is on the job learning, though. Like,
Right.
obviously you can go to school for like computer sciences and all that shit and like have a diploma, but I didn't do that.
Nice. You kind of fast tracked it in a way.
Yeah, I mean, it worked out really well, and like I said, I like it, so it was kind of easier to jump into it a little bit deeper than like any other job. So yeah, everything kind of, the stars aligned, and I got the job that allowed me to ride more. So
I have an idea for an app or whatever, and
okay, sick.
I want to speak it into existence, but maybe you can help point it into a
Okay.
direction. But
Yeah.
so I fuck with the Apple Watch, and I noticed that it's terrible with tracking like a bike. Like it doesn't track BMX. It just doesn't.
Really? Okay.
Like like if I say I'm doing an outdoor bike ride, it's like, and I go and I actually try like riding and sweating and shit, it'll
Hmm.
be like, oh, you kind of did stuff. But if I click and tell it I did an other workout, it's
Hmm.
like, oh yeah, you definitely fucking burned some calories.
That's so random. You think it would just take it from your like pulse or your like temperature or something, and not like the actual activity?
It's some kind of weird algorithm shit, but I was thinking like, okay, like what's a metric that would be fun to track as you're riding BMX? And I was thinking like, and what would be like an obvious, like, you feel the watch feels you do something, because it's like it probably couldn't pick up a manual, right?
Right. Yeah.
But a bunny hop, it might be able to pick up. That sounds like a motion that could be added to an algorithm type thing.
Yeah, definitely. Like how many like feet you hopped that day or something. That'd be tight.
Like I'm thinking like a bunny hop counter. Like how many bunnies did you do today? Like
Oh man, I wouldn't want to see some of those though. Like after like a hard day of filming, it's like 647. You're like, fuck.
right. Yeah, because like when I fell off and got really out of shape, and I started riding the little Sabrosa rail I got, it felt, I was like, from I went from not riding that much to like probably a half hour session on the rail, and then
Mm.
like later that night I was like, it felt like I was doing bench presses all day, but realistically it was just a couple bunny hops. Like,
Yeah, I mean they're pretty involved, man. Like if you think about the mechanics of like a bunny hop, like there's so much like technique and like so many weird muscles are working to like, especially whenever you're trying to hop over something that's like over a foot high. Like that shit is intense, man. And like where else would you get that work unless you're like targeting those muscles? Like where else would you get that kind of work like in any other exercise? You know what I mean?
yeah, because like I'm at this weird stage where like today I could have at lunch break, I could have I work from home as well, and
Oh, sorry.
I was like, I could do some physical therapy because I have like this whole circuit of like trying to help out all of my joints, or I could
No,
go
that's
to
fair.
the local DIY and just pump around a little bit. And it's like, well, I know I'm going to burn more calories, and I'm going to focus on groups that I really want to use anyway. So it's like, but I do know that preventative maintenance is important, so I better do that either later today or make sure I hit that tomorrow.
There's never enough time in the day.
No.
Like thinking about like all the, like you see all those videos and they're like 10-minute shoulder mobility work or like 10-minute knee, and I'm like 10 minutes times like fucking 20 different joints. Like this is my
Yeah.
full-time job. Like I'm just limbering up the whole fucking day.
Yo,
I
for
don't get how
real.
people do it.
Exactly. It's like, if I do all the physical therapy on all of my joints, it's like 45 minutes. Just that before even doing any kind of like real shit. But
Yeah, it takes forever. I mean, like my physio work now involve like I have to like passively stretch and like all this other stuff that takes up time. But like in the morning, like it's probably an hour, and then there's like a 20-minute ride at lunch or after work, and then I do sometimes I'll do like another strengthening specific workout that's every 2 days, and then
mm,
after that I have to do 20 minutes, or in total a day I do 40 minutes of like passive stretching. So basically you'll just put your leg up on, like you'll sit on a chair and put your heel up on another chair and then add the weight so it stretches your knee straight.
mm.
So I'll do that for like 2 times 20 minutes a day. And then I also have to do like this muscle stim thing to reduce swelling. So like I'm doing physio specific shit for, 3 to 4 hours a day usually.
Wow.
It's fucking intense, and like I hope it pays off. But I mean, like again, what else am I gonna do? Like I'm just sitting at home and I can't ride, so I might as well just work on this shit. But
Yeah.
it gets long in the tooth, man. It gets really frustrating, and this is one joint, like
Hmm.
one joint. It's
Damn.
crazy, but I mean, it is what it is. Better than I'd rather do this for 100 more years and ride than not be able to ride. So it's a
Absolutely.
great evil.
So, so can you code a thing so they can track the bunnies?
I can try my best. I definitely do more of like the make shit look pretty type stuff,
Oh,
but
cool. Very cool.
yeah, I mean it's nice because like I can help friends with like websites and like I just built my sister a website for her nutrition business, and like I'm gonna work on one for my wife soon, and it's just nice to kind of be able to hook people up with like really simple website pretty quickly. But
Hmm.
I do want to kind of start focusing or like learning more about kind of like data and algorithms and applications and stuff like that. But again, it's like plumbing versus carpentry. It's like
Hmm.
they're both construction, but they're two pretty different things. So I might have to go back to school or something for that. I don't know.
Yo, so we could cut this out if you want, but how do you feel about the algorithmic chat GPTs and mid journeys and all that shit?
I mean, like they're cool. From like a fucking sci-fi nerd perspective, they're terrifying.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
also from like a tech worker, they're kind of scary because I'm not sure when the pin will drop and I'll be replaced by just AI.
Yo, for
But
real. I feel the
I
same
think that's
way,
a
but
while off.
yeah. There's
Do
a
you do you work in tech as well, or?
I do graphic design, but
Oh, okay, sick.
at my job it's pretty much like, "Oh, hey, you're on a computer, try this." Like, you
Of
know,
course.
the graphic designer is like the Swiss Army knife of the organization typically, like whatever
Yeah, the
nobody else
general
wants to do.
contractor.
Yeah, general contractor. Especially because
Hell
there's
yeah.
not that many people in the business in the company itself that are educated on that stuff. So you end up being like the bucket where it all goes.
The
But
IT guy, kind of.
yeah,
Nothing worse than that. I'm like, like I get requests like that sometimes, and I'm like, yo, there's like a whole team of people who do this. Like, you don't need to come to me for this. It's like, cool. But I
right.
mean, what do you do?
I follow this guy on Twitter who's like purposely trying to develop an app completely with AI and like, well, not AI, but like ChatGPT and a couple other things. Not ChatGPT, GPT-4. So I don't know if it really matters to clarify that, but things are escalating quickly in that department. And the app
Definitely.
was to recommend him 5 movies, and like the way it all worked out, it like everything he did was basically a prompt, even to the point of like writing the code, and then there's something you have to do when you submit it to the app store. So,
Jesus Christ.
and like he keeps updating the thread like, guys, I just submitted to the store, let's see if it works. And I DM'd him, I'm like, yo, can you help me figure out how to count bunny hops?
You're just putting tentacles out everywhere,
Dude, I want to
eh?
count bunnies, dude, because
Hell yeah.
I'm not gonna do that in my head. That shit's gonna be annoying.
Oh my god, you need a notepad for that.
Yeah,
It would be such a buzzkill on a session.
exactly. I don't want to actually count them. I just want to look down afterwards and be like, oh, cool. You know?
Yeah, yeah. It's sick. Like I know Strava. Like if you put your Strava on during a street ride, and like even just realizing how much ground you cover riding around or like riding the same spot for like 3 hours, like just kilometers and kilometers of moving. And like, you don't think about it like that because you're just sessioning, but like you hit 4 or 5 spots in the city and you pedal to all of them, like easily clear like 50, 60K a day. And like realizing how much like physical energy and exercise goes into just like riding for the day is crazy. It's a really
Yeah.
cool feeling to see that.
It's like, oh shit, this hobby is actually really kind of healthy, you know?
Yeah, it's super healthy. Like, I mean, like aside from like, I don't know, road riding, I don't know what other one would be better, you know? Like it's just it's full body, it's cycling, which is in and of itself like a really good. I mean, I guess our kind of cycling isn't very low impact, but cycling
Hmm.
like pedaling is low impact technically. So
Yeah.
it's it's really cool. And like I always say, like if I fell in love with anything other than riding, like I would just be a fat piece of shit. Like I'd be 500 pounds by now. Like I'm so grateful that what I love is really, really physical.
Yo, that's my biggest fear is getting so big that they have to cut the house down to get me out.
You got a long way, man.
Yo,
Happens fucking quick though, dude. Like,
yeah,
like it fucking happens fast.
it really does. I know I've been keeping so I gained that 40 pounds like the first year we had the house, and then the second year I was like, gotta reel it in, you know?
Yeah,
And I watched my weight go all the way back down. Like, holy shit. I don't know why I brought that up. Oh, but like,
sucks.
oh, so like once I got down, like we'll have like a holiday, a birthday, and then some other family function, and then enough pasta and booze, and you're
Yeah,
back up a couple pounds. It's like
dude,
holy shit.
Christmas, like Christmas, New Year's, like fucked my progress so hard. And I was still relatively conservative with what I was eating, but like just not paying attention and eating whenever you want. Like I know it fucked me up super bad. And like, yeah, I was the same way. I had
Hmm.
like 40 or 50 pounds on after the surgery, got it all down. And then I was where I wanted to be before Christmas. After Christmas, I was like, fuck, 10 pounds. Where did that come from?
But like
Fucking bummer.
it also can like it probably a lot depends a lot on the person, but it for me it feels like it can almost go away as quick as it comes on as well.
I need a little bit of that this way. Send it over. Mine's been hanging on for dear life right
Dude,
now. I mean, I got to give myself a bit of credit. I did have knee surgery over the past 3 months, but like
yeah.
no excuses. I'm trying to lose like another 10 pounds right now just to get where I want to be, and it's like the hardest fucking thing to do. All I want to
Mhm.
do is just stuff my face with McDonald's.
Right. And I
Soon.
would say that's my only saving grace is like it's kind of like a bad thing. What's it called? Maladaptive, where like I'll just get caught up in my work and I won't take lunch and I will just work and fucking beach ball emails until like 2 p.m. and then I'm like, all right, now maybe I'll like go do like a workout and then eat. And sometimes I
Mm,
wait too long and I'm like, I'm so fucking lightheaded. There's no way I can do a workout that's going to be dangerous at this point.
so
Like,
scary.
and I basically fasted my way out of doing the workout. So it's like, all right, I'm keeping my weight in check, but really nothing else is going to happen, you know?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And like obviously, you gotta replenish all those like good things that food have, and like fasting a lot is obviously a great way to get rid of shit really easy. But then obviously your muscle mass starts going down because you don't have enough protein, and like
Mm,
you feel lightheaded, like and you can't do anything. Like it's crazy. I don't know how people eat like those crazy diets of like 1,000 or 1,200 calories a day. Like they must feel so shitty every day, like just eating fucking nothing.
yeah, that's a little extreme.
Yeah, I mean, like, that's what people talk about all the time. Like, oh yeah, I'm only eating 1,200 calories, and I'm like, that's a McDonald's milkshake. Like, that's
Yeah.
one fucking thing. Like, how can you survive off that?
My
I don't have
favorite,
that ability.
yeah. I, my favorite thing about fasting is like when it becomes time to eat, I'm like, give me all the fucking food. This is my feeding window. Let's go.
Yeah, it is nice to like when you like. I was doing like 12 to 8 for a little bit, and like as soon as 12 o'clock would hit, I'm just like, wow, like give me everything.
Yeah,
But then
yeah.
obviously I would take it too far, and I would go a little crazy, and it would just negate the fasting completely.
Right.
But I mean, it's all a work in progress, that shit. And like you said, it's different for everybody. So trying to find that like proper balance of fasting and eating and diet and all that shit is just it's a pain in the ass, and it gets harder every year.
Dude, it's
But
so
it
much
is what
work.
it is.
How old are you now?
I'm 34,
34, right?
so
Damn.
I'm definitely feeling it. Like I used to be able to eat whatever the fuck I wanted for just literally years. Like I remember there was times when I was living like with homies at like BMX heads and shit. Like I
Hmm.
wouldn't cook a meal for myself for like 2 years in a row, which is fucking terrible. But like we would
Yeah.
just eat crap, and I never thought about my weight. But like 30 hit, and I was like, this has got to change.
Yeah, it's like the joints getting achy. Like that was like my first sign. I was like, "Oh no." Like it really feels like rust.
Yeah, exactly.
It's crazy.
It's the worst fucking feeling.
But speaking of good feelings, is it okay if I pull up your 2021 edit?
Yeah, yeah, sure. If you wanna watch her.
Yeah, if you wanted to fill me in on any kind of cool details.
Yeah, hell yeah. Shout out Joel for this because he's the man.
Shout out to Joe. You got it. Okay, I'm looking at it both directions, so I'm like
It's probably tripping you out hard right now.
I always look at this one, but I'm like that doesn't record well that way. It's better if I look this at this version. Can you hear it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Cool.
This one was fun as well.
Did you get to pick the music?
Yeah, yeah. Joel was super nice about that. Like I picked both songs, and I even had him redo the second part because I picked the wrong song, so he hooked it up.
Oh, nice.
This spot is sick. To the right of that, there's like all these crazy coping ledges and stuff. It's wild.
You have okay. Your left foot forward and you spin to the left.
Depends.
Oh, okay.
I'm like hella goofy footed, so certain tricks I'll have to go to the left, certain tricks I'll have to go to the right. It kind of just depends on the trick.
Because I did notice you are an Ice One pimp.
That's one of the tricks that I got really lucky, and it's not opposite one. Like so, ice one is regular for me all the way around,
Mm-hmm.
so it works really well. But it's a fun one.
I try and tell my friends sometimes like I'm traditional footed, but I'm secretly like closet goofy footed, like because it always feels easier to turn towards your front foot.
Yeah, it is. I find it way easier. Like any grind to one is regular for me. It feels so good.
I wanted to ask you about this clip because it looks like a peg got sheared off or something right here.
Oh, I was using a really cool sleeve. Um, I don't know why. I just wanted to get the last little bit out of it, and as soon as I made it,
Fucking steezy.
that's so funny. I didn't even know that happened until like I saw the clip. That's a sick spot too. There's like a cool little skate park to the right of that. Yeah, like right there.
Wow.
That was supposed to be something else, but
You,
I got robbed on that spot like 3 different days. I think it was brutal.
you know, fucking rail rides are okay. There don't need to be any more tricks involved if you don't want
Well, that's
them.
why I use it. But like, I went there. This is gonna sound buttermilky, but I went there to do bump, pegs, tires, whip, and
Oh fuck.
I couldn't get the fucking whip because the uprights of that rail. Like, if you go to the rail now, it just fucking wiggles because the uprights are
Oh.
completely out. And like, we tried to quick read it. We tried to like brace it by hammering shit in, and like it. I've never tried a peg to tires on a wobbly rail before, but it was the hardest fucking thing I've ever
Oh
tried.
wow.
My trip to tires.
So that was probably as sturdy as that rail ever was, right there.
Elephant fucked that rail up for sure.
Oh really?
This is a cool spot too. There's a lot of there. Little Big Will.
Damn. Them hard ones look pretty easy.
Again, I have to do that trick switch which is really annoying because again, it's natural. So like reg hard is hard. It's like switch one and it's a hard spin. So like reg pegs hard is like next to impossible for me. But if I do switch pegs hard, it's natural and it feels a lot better.
Wow. Huh.
That's the only reason I ever predator stuff.
Using it to your advantage though, dude, you know?
Yeah, it works out sometimes for sure.
Now, I'm not saying I don't I'm not saying this clip could be any better, but after watching this a couple times, it almost looks like you could get to that handrail, but I'm sure that's terribly scary.
Oh man, it's like the cardio to get in, like the gap on this wall is like it's too long for how small the bank is. So like I was pedaling
Oh,
from like the end of the parking lot and I was pulling my ass off on that wall and like I pretty much hung up, but like I hit like a weird divot right beside the rail. But yeah, getting that extra 2 or 3 feet to get on the rail, like it would also I would have broken the rail out for sure.
oh wow.
Done that a couple
Gotcha.
times. Right spot.
Phew. That's just some big dick shit right there, man.
That spot has some crazy shit too.
Say that again, I'm sorry.
That spot with the pegs over that I just did, like
Yeah.
if you go around the corner, there is a parking lot with perfect fucking bank to walls everywhere, and then beside one of the walls is a perfect bank to Jersey sub. Like it's a fucking skate park, and we just like rolled around the corner and found this. But yeah, that spot is
Wow.
a gold mine.
Not scared.
This is why my knees hurt.
Yeah, so good. This is why your knees hurt, right?
Yeah, this shit. I don't do this shit much. It sucks because like that didn't hurt. Like whenever you do it right, it doesn't hurt.
Whenever what?
Like whenever you do shit like that right, like it doesn't like you don't feel it, you know what I mean? Like it just
Yeah.
feels normal. But like whenever you look back on, you're like, oh, I definitely did some damage on that. Like it's just a tall drop to land on for a 200-pound guy. Like I know my knees were not happy.
So sick.
Check out Mike.
Hell yeah.
Thanks, man. Yeah, Joel really killed it on that one. It's like
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's my favorite edit I've filmed so far. Just because like I love the music, I love the way it's edited. I love how everything kind of goes together. So like he did an amazing job on that, and I really appreciate it for sure.
Fuck yeah, man. That's awesome.
Thanks,
It's
dude.
I've I've kind of also I wanted to ask you about being pro. Is it like how long have you been pro? You said you were on pro on McNeil as well?
Yeah, I mean, technically, I wasn't like pro, like I wasn't getting a paycheck from McNeil, which is
Hmm.
one of the reasons I quit because some people were, some people weren't, so it was just like a weird politics thing. But um, like going pro for Merrit, like I mentioned, has been like obviously a childhood dream come true. Like I've always wanted to ride for a pro or like ride pro for especially an American company. So that was really cool, but at the same time, I'm really frustrated because I haven't been able to kind of give back to Merrit in terms of content and just stuff for
Hmm.
them to like showcase. And like it's just frustrating being put on a pro team and then just having nothing for a year. You know what I mean? Like I feel super self conscious about like talking about it and like about people being like, oh, like why are you on there? Like what did you do, kind of thing. And I'm like, I know it's just bad timing, but like yeah, it's long story short, like I'm super grateful for Merrit for putting me on, and like I couldn't be happier, and I just can't wait to kind of get back to the point where I can really like start representing them the way I want to. So like I know me and Joel are gonna film something else for them as soon as I'm back rolling, and then we'll kind of go to Jersey and keep filming there, so I can kind of say thanks and give them something a little bit nicer than like some Insta clips or something.
Right on. That makes sense. Hell yeah.
Yeah, it's sick though. I mean, like it's it's every kid's like dream to kind of just be be on one of those teams. So I'm just like, I'm still kind of in shock about it. I'm like, are you sure? Like me? But no, it's sick. I'm stoked. Shout out Mike and Sean for sure.
Hell yeah. And so what's I guess that's the move next is to heal up and get to Jersey and dial in some new content.
Yeah, hell yeah. Like I'm itching to film some new stuff for sure. Like my mind's just been going all like the whole time I've been off. Like I want to go get a bunch of stuff done. I'm just like obviously it's a little bit like I'm not sure when I'm going to be able to get to that point, but
Mm-hmm.
it's going to happen, and I'll just kind of film what I can when I can until I'm back to the point where I'm like, all right, let's go. But yeah, it's I'm hoping like May, like late May, early June, I can start like banging shit out again properly. So
Right on. Hell yeah.
yeah, we'll see.
Well, I really appreciate you taking the time to chat with me. Is there anything that we didn't cover that we should?
Uh, that was pretty. I talked a lot, so I'm sure it was pretty comprehensive.
Cool. Hell yeah. Well, I'll let you get back to it. Have a good rest of your day, and I'll talk to you again soon. Is there any shout outs or anything like that? I don't want to cut you off or anything.
No, it's all good. Yeah, yeah. I mean, like, definitely shout out Merrit, Kink, Vans Canada, my wife for being my caretaker for the past like 6 months.
Shout out to the wifey.
Yeah, hell yeah, she's holding me down. Yeah, like family, friends, the regulars.
Do you have any advice you can give to other 30 something bike riders for like wellness and shit like that?
Yeah, don't. First of all, don't act your age. Act how you feel, and I feel like I'm fucking 20. Aside from the joint shit, like I feel like I'm still the same dude I was when I was 20, like mind frame wise.
Mm.
So like, just don't, like we were talking about, you get to that certain age where you're like, I kind of like feel weird telling people I ride BMX and
Yeah.
shit. It's
Yeah.
like, fuck that. Who cares? Like you love it. If you want to keep doing it, then there's a way to keep doing it and it will keep you young. Like
Yeah.
I'm convinced that riding BMX for as long as I have has kept me young. Like if you ever see, like you ever randomly run into dudes from your high school and you're like, wow, you're like just fucking an old man now. You got like 3 kids and you're like overweight and pissed off and just like a grumpy dude. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I still get to ride my kid's bike. Like I fucking love it.
Hell yeah,
So
exactly.
yeah, I think that's the biggest one. Is just like, if you want it, just don't give up, work hard, and don't think that you're too old for it. Fuck that. Ride till you can't.
Hell yeah. That's a good way to end it, man. Thank you for being
But
on,
yeah,
and I appreciate it. And I'll talk to you again soon.
hell yeah. Thanks for the time, man. I really appreciate it.
No problem.
All right, man. Later.
See you.